Good morning, children. Welcome back to our math session. Today's topic is Introduction Part 2 of Understanding Quadrilaterals, Chapter 3. And with that, we are solving exercise 3.1, question number 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so let we start. So, in introduction part 1, we have already discussed about the introduction and polygons, isn't it? So in this video, we are going to discuss about quadrilateral and properties of quadrilaterals. So let we start. So let we start our new topic. What we are going to study in this lesson, that is quadrilateral, right? The polygons with the four sides. Now in the quadrilaterals also we will see that there are many different categories of quadrilateral, isn't it? So let's understand what they are. Now even before we start learning about quadrilaterals, you might be interested to know why do we need to study quadrilateral or how will it help us, right? So let us try to connect it with our day to day life. As I already mentioned that there are so many shapes or there are so many objects that exist around us, and all of them have some or the other shapes. In fact, you would be amazed to see that there are many shapes that around us which are nothing but quadrilateral, right? Let's think of your blackboard or a whiteboard. Nowadays, we are using whiteboard and green board, isn't it? Okay, the shape of your blackboard is nothing but a quadrilateral. Think of the laptop screen or the desktop screen. So, the shape of the screen is again the quadrilateral, right? Think of a book or a window or even the kite. So, all these are in the shape of a quadrilateral. A table, a TV, the bed. So all of these, when you look at the sheet, these all are in the shape of a quadrilateral, right? Now, my next question is why we are learning quadrilateral? Because if we know quadrilateral, in that we can decide certain things with regards to such objects. How? Let's say the bed that can be of different sizes, right? Even though the shape of the bed would be a quadrilateral always, but their sizes would vary, right? Now, if I ask you that, what should be the size of the bed sheet that you would need for your bed? Now, in order to answer that, you need to know the size of your bed, right? So, how do you know the size of your bed? With the dimensions, right? So, need to know the dimensions of your bed, you need to know the area that your bed includes. The area that is includes by the boundary of the bed, right? Similarly, if you have a field, which is again in the shape of a quadrilateral. If I ask you that, how much wire you need to fence that field? Now, for that, again, you need to know how much is the total boundary of that field, right? So, to make such calculations or to take all these decisions, we need to have a detailed idea about what quadrilateral are, right? You need to know the size of your bed for buying a bed sheet. Similarly, you need to know the size of your mobile phone to buy a mobile cover. Isn't it? You need to know the size of your window to buy curtains. You need to know the size of the field to fence it. Isn't it? So, knowing these dimensions like area, shape, etc., would help So when we talk about a quadrilateral, we are not only going to talk about the shapes. As such, we are going to talk about the various types of quadrilateral, their area, their boundaries, and their properties, etc. So these are the things we will touch about in this video. Okay, right. So what are quadrilateral? These are polygons with four sides, isn't it? Now on the screen you can. So what are quadrilateral? These are polygons with four sides, isn't it? Now on the screen you can already see many variety of shapes of polygons. Even though all of them have four sides. Now in any quadrilateral, what are the things that we have in common? We have four sides. We have four vertices. We have four interior angles, right? But these are things that would be common, that all of them will have common, isn't it? So that all of them will have four sides, four angles, and four vertices, isn't it? Now, what would vary is there would be a variation in their parameter or the values of its measurements, right? Now, in certain quadrilateral, all the internal angles might be equal. In certain cases, two internal angles would be equal. In some of them, none of them would be equal, right? Similarly, in some of them, their sides might be parallel. In some sides, they are not parallel, right? In some sides will be equal and some are not equal. So basically, depending on these kind of parameters, we would see that they exist many different types of quadrilaterals. So even before we talk about the different types of quadrilaterals, let us talk about some of the basic properties of quadrilateral. So let us see the properties. Okay. So let me start the properties of quadrilaterals. The first property that we would discuss is the angle sum property of a convex quadrilateral. Okay. Now here throughout the lesson we are going to deal with the convex polygons. Now we already discussed what are convex and concave polygons, right? So in convex polygon, all the interior angles will be less than 180-degree, isn't it? So now these convex polygons, another interesting thing, since I mentioned the term convex polygon, so these convex polygon are also called bulging polygons. And I am sure you know why are they so called, because since their inner angles are lesser, that tend to bulge outside. But when you look at the concave polygons, they came to form a cave like structure where it goes deeper inside, right? So here we are going to deal only convex polygon. Okay. So here you can see the picture of a convex quadrilateral and we want to find out the angle sum property. Basically, we want to find out how much would be the sum of the four internal angles. So that is what we want to find here. So for that, we consider this as a quadrilateral. Let us name as A, B, C and D. So let us see this is a quadrilateral. Now in order to find out how much would be the sum of the angles, what we do is let's draw a diagonal. So let's draw this diagonal AC and now let's also name the angles. Let us name the angles like this. Let's call this angle 1, this angle 2, angle 3, this is angle 4, this angle is 5 and this is angle 6. So that's how we are named the angles. so that it becomes simpler for us to find out how much is the angle sum. Now let us consider these two triangles, triangle ABC and triangle ACD. So basically here we got two triangles, right? That also we know that a quadrilateral can divide into two triangles, right? So let us try to compare these two triangles. And what do we see? We see that in triangle ABC, how much is the sum of the uh, three angles? Let's see. The sum of the three angles in a triangle is always 180 degree, isn't it? This is something which we have been learned last year, right? Angle sum property of a triangle, isn't it? So in triangle ABC, what are the three angles? The three angles are angle 4, angle 5 and angle 6. Therefore, angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6 is equal to 180 degree. In a similar way, when you look at a triangle ACD, the three angles are angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3. So therefore here also angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equal to 180 degree. So let us call the first one is equation 1 and second one we can give name as equation 2. So now if we add equation 1 and 2, then what happens? On the left hand side, we will have angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6 would be equal to 180 degree plus 180 degree, isn't it? Now let's see what is angle 1. Angle 1 is nothing but angle D. Now I am talking only about the interior angles, okay? Now what is angle 2 plus angle 5? That would be angle A. Similarly, angle 3 plus angle 6 would be angle C. And what is angle 4? Angle 4 is nothing but angle B. And this is equal to 360 degree. So angle D plus angle A plus angle C plus angle B, we got 360 degree. Therefore, we can say that the sum of the interior angles, that is angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D, is equal to 360 degree, or the sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral is equal to 360 degree. Now you might say that okay, this is the case for a convex quadrilateral. Will it also hold true in case of a concave quadrilateral? So let us try to calculate the same thing for a concave quadrilateral. Let us try. Okay. So this is a concave quadrilateral. Here also first let us draw the diagonal. Then name the quadrilateral as A, B, C and D. After drawing the diagonal, we should successfully divide this into two halves, isn't it? And each half is a triangle. Now again let us name the angle like angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5 and angle 6. Now here if you consider triangle ABD and a triangle BCD, so in triangle ABD, the sum of the three angles is that is angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equal to 180 degree. Right? Similarly, in triangle BCD, the sum of three angles would be angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6 also would be 180 degree. So let's call the first one is equation 1 and the second one is equation 2. So if we add equation 1 and equation 2 on the left hand side, we get angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6e would be 180 degree plus 180 degree. And from here angle 1 is our angle A and angle 2 plus angle 4 would be angle B. Similarly, angle 3 plus angle 5 would be angle D and angle 6 is nothing but angle C, and this is equal to 360 degree. And this tells us that angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D in case of a concave quadrilateral also is equal to 360 degree. Therefore, how we know that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degree? Similarly, the sum of the angles in a quadrilateral is equal to 360 degree. But when we see that would mean the internal angles. Okay, only we are considering the internal angles. Now the logic is very simple. That's because whenever we draw a diagonal, we are actually dividing the quadrilateral into two triangles, isn't it? Now, one triangle, the sum of the angle is 180 degree, isn't it? So, two triangles, then sum of the angles would be 2 into 180 degree, that is equal to 360 degree. So logically also it would be correct. So this is how we could find the angle sum property of a quadrilateral. Clear? Now we can see some more property of other polygons also. Okay? So let me start our next topic, that is angle sum property of other polygons. Okay. Now this was only about the quadrilateral, what we have done now, isn't it? What should be the angle sum property of other polygons? Because we saw that there could be a polygon with 10 sides. There could be a polygon with 20 sides. So if somebody asks that, what should be the sum of the angles for a polygon? With 10 sides. So how do I know how much it would be? So let us try to see. Let us start with the simplest or the smallest polygons. Which is the simplest polygon possible? That would be a triangle, isn't it? So a triangle has three sides. So for this polygon, what would be the sum of the angles? So for this, the sum of the angles would be 180 degree. Isn't it? The next polygon would be the one with the four sides. So for a polygon with the four sides, what is the sum of the angles? That is equal to 360 degree. These both we already done, isn't it? Or we can say that 2 into 180. Why 2 into 180? Because if we draw a diagonal, the diagonals divides a quadrilateral into two triangles. Now let us consider a polygon with 5 sides. So this is how it would look like, a pentagon, isn't it? Now here we have to find out the sum of all interior angles. Now let's see how many triangles can be divided this polygon. So basically we could divide a pentagon into three triangles. So in this case angle sum should be equal to 3 into 180 degree. That is equal to 540 degree. Yeah, otherwise we can see that number of sides minus 2 into 180 degree. How many sides are there? 5 sides. 5 minus 2, that is 3. 3 triangles are there. So 3 into 180, 540 degree. Clear? Now even let's go even further. Let's talk about a polygon with 6 sides. So 6-side polygon is called a hexagon. Here also we have to find out the sum of all 6 interior angles. Let's see how many triangles can be divided this. So we can divide a hexagon into 4 triangles. So basically here the angle sum would be 4 into 180. So that is equal to 720 degree. So what do we observe from this trend? So from this trend, we observe that a polygon with 3 sides has one triangle and therefore its angle sum would be 180 degree. A polygon with 4 sides has 2 triangles. A polygon with 5 sides has 3 triangles. Same way, polygon with 6 sides has 4 triangles. Isn't it? And this would continue. So when you look at a polygon with 7 sides, it could have 5 triangles, right? A polygon with 8 sides could have how many triangles? 6 triangles, and so on. So basically the trend is that if you consider a polygon with n sides, then how many triangles will it have? It have n minus 2 into triangles. Means the number of sides is n, means n minus 2 times triangles are there. Clear? If 6 side is there, then 6 minus 2 into 180 means 4 angles, 4 triangles. Clear? So that's the trend has been following for triangle. N was 3. So 3 minus 2, that is equal to 1. For a quadrilateral, n is 4. So 4 minus 2, 2. For a pentagon, n is 5. So 5 minus 2, 3. So basically for any polygon of n sides, by drawing diagonals, we can get n minus 2 triangles. That means for any polygon with n sides, we can form n minus 2 triangles. So therefore, what would be the angle sum? Therefore, the angle sum would be equal to n minus 2 into 180 degree, right? So with this formula, we can calculate the angle sum property, angle sum for any polygon. So even if you take a polygon with 30 sides, we should be able to calculate the angle sum of that polygon. How? That is 30 minus 2 into 180 degree. That is equal to 28 into 180 degree. That is the answer. So from this, we derived that the sum of the interior angles of any polygon with n sides is equal to n minus 2 into 180 degree. So this is the formula we are using for all polygons, right? So I hope you understood the logic that how we derived this formula, why the sum is n minus 2 into 180 degree. So this is quite simple. It is just that we did a number of alternatives, alternations starting from all the polygons, triangles, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, and so on. And that how we derived this formula. Isn't it? So now since quite some time we have been talking about the internal angles, isn't it? So next topic would be external angles of a triangle that we will see later. Okay.